The divine puts on an appearance of humanity, assumes the outward human nature, in order to tread the path and show it to human beings, but does not cease to be the divine, says Sri Aurobindo about the mother. And says the master further, the mother was inwardly above the human, even in childhood. The mother's ancestors had settled down in France, coming from the Middle East. But such accounts of background would hardly explain her personality. As she said later, I belong to no nation, no civilization, no society, no race, but to the divine. I give obedience to no master, no ruler, no law, no social convention, but to the divine. Extraordinary in consciousness. She was often in a yogic pose at the age of 4. In the woods of Fontainebleau, amid trees 2,000 years old, she used to pass into trances. Between the age 11 and 13, a series of psychic and spiritual experiences revealed to her not only the existence of God, but man's possibility of uniting with him, of realizing him integrally, of manifesting him upon earth. The practical discipline for the fulfillment of such a vision was given to her during her sleep by several teachers, some of whom she met afterwards on the physical plane. One with whom her psychic and spiritual relation became more clear and frequent was called by her as Krishna. It was when she met Sri Aurobindo that she knew who the Krishna of her vision was. But several years were to intervene between her meeting the master in vision and meeting him in person. Out to explore the horizon of mysticism, the mother spent some years in Algeria with Monsieur and Madame Thion, adept occultists. A moment of this period has been caught by the mother in one of her paintings. 1910. The year Sri Aurobindo came over to Pondicherry was also the year when the mother heard of him. In 1914, the mother's urge to visit Pondicherry was fulfilled. While 2 miles off the Pondicherry shore, she knew that she was entering the aura of Sri Aurobindo. It was on the 29th of March that the mother met Sri Aurobindo. She wrote in her diary, "It matters not if there are hundreds of beings plunged in the densest ignorance. He whom we saw yesterday is on earth. His presence is enough to prove that a day will come when darkness shall be transformed into light, when thy reign shall be indeed established upon earth." That day, the mother realized what she expressed much later with the words, "Without him I exist not. Without me, he is unmanifest." The mother left India after about a year's stay, but only physically, never in spirit. She spent a period of 5 years in Japan, engrossed in her spiritual preparation for her return to India to work with Sri Aurobindo. Her communication with the Supreme was growing ever more intimate, and the vision of her mission on earth more and more concrete. She was back at Pondicherry on the 24th of April, 1920. It is with her arrival that the ashram began taking shape. As the older ashramites recollect, it is the mother who taught them how to look upon Sri Aurobindo, the Guru. On the 24th of November 1926, Sri Aurobindo achieved the Siddhi of the overmind, the highest divine consciousness hitherto realized, paving the way for the descent of the supermind. He withdrew into seclusion for concentrated work, entrusting the mother with the disciples and the ashram. Around the mother gathered children from everywhere. No aspect of the ashram was deprived of her loving touch. The mother launched the sadhaks into the exploration of the sublime, herself watching their every step and stride. The omniscient spiritual guide, she at once took care of the sadhaks much more than a physical mother could. The day in the ashram began with the mother's darshan. Four times a year, Sri Aurobindo and the mother together blessed their disciples and devotees. On the 5th of December 1950, Sri Aurobindo gave up his body in the words of the mother, in an act of supreme unselfishness, renouncing the realization of his body to hasten the hour of the collective realization. Surely, if the earth were more responsive, this would not have been necessary. With incredible calm and compassion, the mother continued the master's spiritual work of immeasurable magnitude, without slackening her attention on the physical organization of the ashram and the personal problems of the sadhaks. Sri Aurobindo's yoga intends to transform man. The body is the base of the being, and hence the mother's emphasis on the proper physical culture. The mother reminds us. Sri Aurobindo came to tell us one need not leave the earth to find the truth. One need not leave the life to find his soul. One need not abandon the world or have only limited beliefs to enter into relation with the divine. The divine is everywhere, in everything. And if he is hidden, it is because we do not take the trouble to discover him. The mother's was a many-splendored life. An accomplished artist, her works remained scattered in several countries. Once, when a disciple insisted that such masterpieces should not be allowed to be lost to time, the mother tenderly disarmed him by whispering, "You know, we live in eternity." Whatever be the perfection achieved at one stage, the mother's was a call for a forward journey to new heights of perfection. She welcomed the new year with her music and message, wishing her children ever new adventures in consciousness. All the works done in the ashram are the mother's, said Sri Aurobindo. To work for the divine is to pray with the body. The mother says, all work must be play, but a divine play, played for the divine, with the divine. To work for the divine is very good. It is delight. But to work with the divine is a felicity infinitely deeper and sweeter still. A great siddhi in the yoga of Sri Aurobindo came on the 29th of February 1956, when the supramental power manifested itself in the subtle physical atmosphere. Its impact on human life remains a matter of time. More and more people came to her, but she had time and patience for all. Her will was puissant on their nature's acts. Her heart's inexhaustible sweetness lured their hearts. A being they loved whose bounds exceeded theirs. Her measure they could not reach, but bore her touch, answering with the flower's answer to the sun. They gave themselves to her and asked no more. Some turned to her against their nature's bent, divided between wonder and revolt, drawn by her charm and mastered by her will, possessed by her striving to possess, impatient subjects, their tied, longing hearts, hugging the bonds close of which they most complained, murmured at a yoke they would have wept to lose, the splendid yoke of her beauty and her love. Others pursued her with life's blind desires, and claiming all of her as their lonely own, hastened to engross her sweetness meant for all. Although she leaned down to their littleness, covering their lives with her strong, passionate hands, and knew by sympathy their needs and wants, and dived in the shallow wave depths of their lives, and met and shared their heartbeats of grief and joy, and bent to heal their sorrow and their pride, lavishing the might that was hers on her lone peak, to lift to it their aspirations' cry. And though she drew their souls into her vast, and surrounded with the silence of her deeps, and held as the great mother holds her own, only her earthly surface bore their charge, and mixed its fire with their mortality. Her greater self lived soul, unclaimed, within. On August 15th, 1972, the world observed the first birth centenary of Sri Aurobindo. One step more towards eternity was the mother's message. On the eve of the year 1973, the mother gave the hint that it was not unlikely for her to give up the body during the year that was setting in. The devotees had their last collective darshan of the mother on August 15th, 1973. On November 17th, the mother gave up her body. Sweet mother, your physical body belonged to the old creation because you wanted to be one with your children. You wanted this body to uphold the new body you were building upon it, and it gave you the service you asked of it. You will come with your new body. Your children's, the world's call and aspiration, love and consecration are laid at your feet in gratitude.